Welcome to the JLR Podcast Network. This is the first edition of What's This? This is this podcast episode is about movies, and in particular movies that my friends haven't seen yet, and vice versa. I will introduce a film to my friend and cousin Egill. Say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
I will have the first pick today, and then later on in the future I will allow others to introduce films that no one else has seen. In the middle of the podcast, we will take a small break, and then after that, you will hear, you could say post-view. Is that a weird way to say it? Post-view? Preview? Post-view?
Post-view analysis?
Yeah, previewing, post-viewing, something like that. So, enough is enough. Let's get it on. So I will start this podcast by choosing a film called The Mad Adventures of Rabbi Jacob. Egill, have you ever heard about this film before I mentioned it to you?
I have not.
I'm surprised.
And I just found out, because when you first mentioned it, I'd never heard of it, but I just found out today that it's a French movie.
Just today?
Yes.
Yeah, because the title, obviously, I just gave up the English title. There is a French title, obviously, that I can't remember off top of my head Les Aventures de Rabbi Jacob. That's yeah. It doesn't seem to have "mad" in the title in French. It's just Les Adventures, the adventure. But for some reason they put "mad" in the English title. I wonder if that's something to do with, like, it's a mad world. Try to make a connection there.
All right.
It's nothing like that.
I know nothing about this movie, so
yeah, I know nothing. I'll just give you some basic info here.
All right.
The film was it's 1973, and
all right.
It's 95 minutes runtime. Adventure, comedy, crime, but I would put the focus on comedy there. So we always give a reason for why we want others to see the films that we've seen. And my reason is pretty simple. This might be one of the funniest films I've ever seen in my life.
All right.
Hands down.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, you're going to go straight to questions?
Yeah, I'm just gonna. When did you first?
Right. Oh, wait. Right after I do this, which is not fart. Sorry. It sounded like I was gonna fart. No.
Why are you
just a small description. A bigoted Frenchman finds himself forced to impersonate a popular rabbi while on the run from a group of assassins and the police. That's it.
And hijinks ensue.
Hijinks ensues. Oh boy, it is quite the hijinks with quite the weird characters and really funny characters. Top billing is Louis de Funès, one of my favorite actors. He's a French comedy legend, and the film was nominated for a Golden Globe. Huh.
Oh,
Didn't even know that. Best foreign film in 1975. 2 years later. What the never mind. All right. So yeah, the reason is I just want I think first of all, I think Louis de Funès is one of the funniest actors ever. I think this film is probably his greatest. He has lot of funny films. He's done a lot of funny films. The Phantomos films, the Le Grand Restaurant, the what's the name of the Grand Gendarme, the police officers.
the waiter. Oh,
yeah. But so and it's just also the reason is there are a few reasons. I want you to see a film with Louis de Funès.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to see a French comedy film because, the French, they're always what could have been, right? Let's say if America, they all spoke French there and French became the global language, then everything that's French would be internationally famous, right? And then probably a film like this would have been like a cult classic everywhere. But the third reason is also how they tackle bigotry, racism, and stuff like that. It's done such a nice, entertaining way without being just way too casual on the subject. And paints a good picture of Jews, paints a good picture of Muslims, and even paints a good picture of a bigot who learned his ways and became a nice guy in the end. Well, I'm not going to spoil too much, but I think it's worthwhile watching it in this day and age where everything is so super sensitive. And I actually do wonder if you could make that film today. I think you could. It's not way over the line, but it's kind of, you don't see this kind of film today. So anyways, questions, do ask.
You say this is the funniest movie that you've ever seen?
I'm not gonna go all over like.
I'm just
it's
curious.
high up there.
When did you first see it?
I saw it with my parents on, believe it or not, RUV, the government broadcasting television back home in Iceland. What is it called in English? I have no idea.
The Mad Adventure.
Basically.
Oh, Ríkisútvarpið.
Yes.
Ríkissjónvarpið. The state radio, which sounds really authoritarian, but it's like
it is the state radio and broadcasting, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. But how old were you?
Was I maybe 10?
Oh, okay, so you've had this movie in your mind for a while, and you haven't talked to us about it earlier, which is interesting.
It's one of those classic films that we recorded for some reason. My parents saw a lot of European films when they lived in Denmark, and they remember these characters and these actors, especially Louis de Funès. So when they just saw the description for the film and saw his name, they probably thought, we have to record this. So they did with those old video cassettes back in the day, right?
Yeah,
and
the VHS.
They would keep watching that film over and over again because it's so freaking hilarious. I'm kind of surprised. Well, no, maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but it's kind of in the family. Like, we've talked about it in the family, but obviously you were not. I mean, what? You would have been, 2 years old? 2 or 3?
Yeah, something like that.
But I just stumbled. I don't know what I was doing the other day. I just
Would you
stumbled on a
say was
YouTube
it one of those
video.
things?
Yeah.
Can I ask you? Was it one of those
Yes.
things? Because you say you watched it when you were 10. It was one of those things you remembered the movie and then you watch it again as an adult, and it's even funnier, like as an adult.
Yeah, I kind of yeah. It was like, is that funny? And now I'm noticing the things that an adult notices, not a child.
Yeah.
And it's even funnier then. So, a really, really funny film with really funny scenes and a really creative comedy in many senses.
Hmm.
Well,
All
the
right.
guy Louis de Funès, he's known to be the guy who can make, what was it? He can make 60 faces in, what was it? 60 faces in 1 minute.
See.
He can make a face in 1 second. Like he has a really, he's a really great physical actor, as well as
That's
just,
good.
yeah, he's hilarious, and the film is spectacular.
I'm looking forward to this
Yeah,
now.
a lot of good side characters, by the way. Notice that there's an arc with the police, with the assassins, and then the Jews. It's just like there's a lot of, yeah, there's a lot of good humor in between there.
Hmm. Speaking of, it's like one of the things, because you mentioned it's a French movie and French comedy, and like they have their own sort of sense of humor. But if you also like think about like French animation, which is very unique and very, I'm thinking about like Asterix and Obelix, The Adventures of
Mm-hmm.
Asterix, and Tintin. That's technically, I think Tintin is
It's
Belgian,
Belgium,
but
but
I
yeah,
think
French Belgium, yeah.
the animation is French.
Oh
And
yeah, it
it's
could be, yeah.
funny because I'm thinking about like a lot of French cartoons, or a lot of French kids cartoon also have like they're very mature jokes and very Lucky Luke,
Oh,
Revenge of the Dalton
definitely, yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah.
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 And so yeah, it feels a lot more interesting to. It's like an interesting way of thinking about it, but it feels more mature, even though it is for children.
Yeah, I kind of I see, definitely see your point. I mean, best when it comes to Europe, I mean, I think the French lead all the other countries when it comes to animation. I mean, like I can
I just
yes, what?
just thinking about the goddamn line. Is the line in Revenge of the Dalton Brothers? It just always kills me when they're
Yeah.
trying to derail the train, and they go, "It's like, what if we blow up a bridge? Here, there's no bridges here. Well, you can always build a bridge."
That's funny.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable. They're not only well known for their comedies, but because there's a huge load of French comedy films that are remade in Hollywood. I mean, if you
Oh
would
yeah,
look at the
yeah.
list, it's staggering how many of those famous, funny Hollywood films were actually like from from France originally, and obviously some other
Mm.
countries as well. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's quite a lot actually. And then they're also known for their animation, definitely, and even they even have their own manga anime culture as well,
Yeah, there
adapted
is
from the
a
Japanese style.
there is a string. It's a sort of an interesting uh influence there, because I just imagine like animators in France would look, to Japan and see their animations, and then animators in Japan would also look to like French styles, and it's all just it mixes and matches. There's a show very it's not very new, but it is I don't remember when it came out. It's fairly recent, called Wakfu, which is a sort of
I remember, yeah.
um yeah, and that show is fantastic.
Mm.
It has really really great animation,
Mm.
really colorful, and it's like a kids show, but it also has like mature themes, and it's very good.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of Japanese animation made for other markets, made for
Yeah.
the French market, for the even I think even I think it was the moments that were made for the Swedish and the Finnish, even though it was a Japanese animation.
Oh, the Moments. The
Moments. Moments. Did I say moments? Moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't actually
Tomato.
know. I don't know what the English pronunciation is. That like we would
Moments
say
or moments.
Muminalvar.
In Japanese, they say mumin.
All right.
In Icelandic, it's muminalvar. That's a little bit more complicated, but
Mm-hmm.
but then obviously, yeah. But when it comes to the French, I mean, they had, for example, Le Col des Champions made for them. You probably don't know the title, but it was in Icelandic we said Skot og Mark, and that was a really
the
popular,
football.
really soccer football. Tomato, tomato.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm
that was
I'm not
really
the sports. I'm not the sports guy. I
it
call
kind
it
of went
sports ball.
beyond sports. I think that was like I remember everyone was watching it at the same time.
Did you know that they recently came out a video game based on that anime,
What?
and it
Had
looks
no
really
idea.
good actually.
God damn! I need to check that out. that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So, the Friends, what can we say? They have their problems, but they're
Well,
pretty
as
good at
anyone
comedy and animation. That's one of the reasons why Daft Punk went to Japan to get a Japanese animator for
Interstellar.
their
Discovery.
the Discovery film Interstellar.
It was fantastic.
And,
like great. Like
I mean, it's a
fantastic
completely
album.
Japanese style,
and-
but
yeah.
hello. Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yep,
but
I'm still here.
made especially for them, for the Friends. Well, made for Daft Punk, I suppose. Any other looming questions about this film, or are you just ready to get started?
No, I don't think I don't have any questions now. Not like the only questions I have are just like potentially spoiler worthy, so I'm not gonna ask them and just gonna watch the movie.
I mean, I could
do you
try
recommend?
to-
Do you recommend? I have a question because I don't. I don't personally like going completely blind. Should I be in a specific mood, or should I set my expectations? Or should I just go completely blind? What do you think?
I mean, I've already kind of heightened your expectations by saying it's one of the greatest comedies I've ever seen, but you might completely disagree. That's the fun thing about it. Like,
I guess
I'm
we'll
so
see.
hyped about that film, but then you'll see it and maybe you'll come back to me and say, "What a load of crap! What the hell are you thinking?" But
And then I will break
I
you.
would say, just be prepared for a scene that is just
Okay.
bonkers, and
Alright.
it's pretty early in the film. But then after that, kind of you should not only just focus on the comedy, but the actual fun of the story. And I think you'll like the characters. That's also a really good thing about this film. Not only do you love it because it's funny, but you really start to like all the characters in the film. And then
Alright.
the centerpiece, Louis de Funès, is just such a character, such a wonderful character. His name is Victor Pierre, and I'm not gonna say anything more. But when he says his name in the film, it's gonna be funny. The way he describes his name, Victor Pierre.
I have a strange question.
All right,
Is
last
this
question.
movie very?
Sorry.
Is this movie very French? Like obviously it's in French, but
Yeah, that's the thing.
like,
The guy is a bigot.
it,
So
is it very like how to say? It's like when you watch a movie and it's like this movie is very American and this movie is very English. Like is this movie very French?
well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, well, but it's very French. There's this guy at the beginning, a bigot, and he's a French nationalist. Well, maybe I don't know,
Mm.
like not like people are nationalists
No, no, no,
today,
no, 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 no.
but
No.
the way he basically trashes other nationalities at the beginning of the film, and the way he does it, well, you'll see.
All right, all right. I think
Yeah,
I've
that's it.
heard
That's it.
enough. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna watch the movie.
All right, let's pause this then. You go
Yes.
and watch the film, and
And we'll be right
continue
back.
right back
and
when after you've
Yep.
finished watching it.
Yeah.
And we'll see how you feel about it. All right, let's end it here then.
All right. See you.
Pause.
Arrêtez-moi. Comment vous appelez-vous? Pivert, Victor Pivert, comme l'oiseau. Le plein? Démarrez vite, chef Arès! Ah! Ça suffit, descendez! Mais en première! Tabac! Ralph!
All right, we're back. Egill has just watched the film. Now, before we start to talk about it, spoiler alert. We're gonna talk about the film and all the spoilers. So, if you haven't seen the film and you don't want us to spoil it for you, then I suggest you put this podcast on pause, watch the film, and then listen to us again. But anyways,
Yes.
all right. My first question, well, it's not really a question, just first reaction, first hot take. Go. What do you think?
So, I finished the movie.
Yes.
Let's see, like what, 5 minutes ago,
Okay.
and I want to say that I liked it. I
Great.
thought it was very funny. It's
Yes.
very absurd.
But
it's-
it's ludicrous.
Yes, it's absurd, but in a very charming way.
It is,
It's
yeah.
very French. What is the name of the main actor?
Louis de Funès.
Yes, I've seen him like in clips and everything.
Yeah, for
a
sure.
lot before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I recognized his face. It was very recognizable.
Very lively face.
Yes. And like as when I was starting the movie, I wasn't really sure. You told me that it was a comedy, so I was expecting, it's funny. But there's different types of comedies and all that.
For sure.
And it's definitely showing its age in just like in the styles. Like everyone's wearing those colorful suits, and they have those perm hairs. So it's definitely a 70s movie. And also like in the filmmaking, there's a lot of like level shots and everything like that. So it's definitely of its time, and it's very charming.
Yeah. Old fashioned but charming, I suppose.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just gonna go straight to it. What did you think about him ending up in that bubble gum pot?
Oh yeah, that whole scene was that was a very funny series of events, like, and also when all the other guards start falling into the bubblegum thing, and then that was probably the most absurd
Yeah.
section of the movie. I really like the part where like his shoes, like the soles of his shoes go off, and then he just starts blowing bubbles. That whole scene is a lot of like cartoon logic, I would say.
For sure. The moment he starts blowing a bubble to knock out the two guys that are gonna try to get him in that.
Oh yeah.
That's all right.
That's
What's
straight up
going on?
cartoon logic.
Yes. But for some reason, like for me, I don't mind it because it's so ridiculously funny, and you just
Okay,
go
yeah.
with it, I suppose.
Yeah,
But
I thought it was very funny. I don't know if I was like I wasn't like losing I wasn't losing myself,
mhm,
or maybe like if I was young, like 8 years old or 10 years
mhm,
old, like
yeah,
then I might be like losing my mind laughing.
yeah, you would
But
just
I can
think,
definitely I did definitely recognize the humor of it, and there's a lot of good scenes
hmm
in this movie.
yeah. It's funny how like Louis de Funès, right?
Hmm.
He starts up. I mean, at the beginning of the film, he's supposed to be this bigot, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And basically, he goes on a rant about all the cars in front of him. They're all from different nationalities.
Oh yeah, and he's driving like a maniac.
He's like blaming them for the traffic, but he's a complete lunatic. Now
Oh yeah.
there's a
Oh,
Joe. Yeah,
there's also the scene in the start of the movie that
yeah.
happens in New York with Rabbi
Oh
Jacob, where
yeah.
they lift the taxi to
Yeah,
get through the traffic jam,
yeah.
and that was another one of like, oh, this is like sometimes it goes into cartoon logic, which I don't mind. Like
Yeah.
I really like it when movies are weird like that. But it was just funny to see it switch from like comedy to like cartoony and then back and everything like that.
I actually, I think that's kind of a French thing there.
Probably, yeah.
I feel like that kind of humor, I've seen it often in French comedy films. Like it's a comedy, but then they'll also just go into ridiculous setups and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, lifting up the taxi and then being able to put how many guys went into the cab? Like
Yeah,
12,
it's like
14.
what?
It was
12 guys.
everyone go to the airport.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like why? It doesn't matter. It's just like the scene. This is just funny.
Just to have the scene, yeah. Just
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
sake of having the scene. But maybe there are a lot of scenes maybe like that, just for the sake
Mhm.
of the joke. But yet,
Well, yeah, like
but
when because like well, yeah, in the beginning, so it starts with Rabbi Jacob in New York, and he's going to France to visit his family, and then you cut over uh, to Pivot in France, and he's going to his daughter's wedding, and he has a chauffeur, but he's driving the car because there's a traffic jam, and he has a boat on top of his car, and when they drive off a cliff and flip, and then the boat is in the water, and like it's the kind of thing where of course it's like completely unrealistic, but the setup is so good, and it's so like it's executed in such a funny, like I want to like the word that comes to mind is charming. This movie is
yeah,
really charming.
yeah. It's not like humor that it's not like a do you remember epic movie or epic film?
I know,
A
like I've
satire
seen
of
some of
epic
those.
films.
I've seen some of those movies, and they're
Yeah.
god
Well,
awful.
you have ridiculous humor there. Scenes that are just absolutely ridiculous. But
yeah,
you'll
yeah,
watch it and
absurd.
like, oh god damn, this is just
Like those
stupid."
movies are
yeah.
obnoxious,
Yeah.
whereas
But-
this is charming.
It's charming, and you have characters that you'll start to like, and you have a really interesting storyline going on. First you have
And the fact-
this rabbi is going to Paris, and then there's this really bigoted French guy who's just like he couldn't believe his chauffeur was Jewish.
yes.
And then you said, and my uncle who's coming soon, he's a rabbi. What? And he's also Jewish?
Yeah. It's like your whole family's Jewish. And he's just like so, and of course, like the way he acts is like, as you say, with his face, he's just so can't believe it, so shocked. Oh yeah, then there's the wedding in the beginning, like where they drive past, where a white man and a black woman are getting married. and he's just flabbergasted. He's like, "What?"
I just love how he says, he's like, Eleanor, she's black, basically. Eleanor, he's just saying she's black, he's white. But yeah, but in that scene though, there's a thing that happens you'll never see again today, where
Oh
basically
no,
it's
no,
a
no.
black,
So,
yeah, a blackface
but
scene.
what I find it hilarious about that scene,
Yeah.
well, given the context of the day, is just how like blasé and brushed over it is. It's like they just like the car stalls, shoots like a bunch of soot at his face, and so then he's just covered in soot, and then someone mistakes it. It's like, oh, is that your daughter? It's like, no, that's my daughter, and then he just leaves, and that's the end of the scene.
Yeah. But he said, I think he says, no, do I look black,
do
or like, do I look like a
Yeah,
computer? Yeah, because he had no idea.
Something like that.
He was, yeah, he had
covered
that.
in soot. Yeah, but like
yeah.
that's the end of the scene.
Yeah, that's it was a really short scene, and that just for
And-
maybe that one gag, someone thinking he was the father of the bride. But
Yeah.
you talk about context. I mean, in this day and age, context doesn't mean jack shit. They just see it and just like, nope, cancel.
Well,
no,
I don't.
that's
I
just-
don't
yeah.
even know. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that like in this movie. Like I didn't think it was offensive. It was just like a dumb, like a funny scene. Like I
No,
can't see.
yeah,
I can't see hatred in that scene. Like
Yeah, that's
only
kinda-
only in the sense that it references a thing that is racist.
Yeah,
but,
and don't
you
you?
know, I guess-
This is the typical film where some people would not see the tree behind the forest or whatever it's.
Well, you
like,
can't. You
they-
can't see the forest for the
forest.
trees. Yeah, I think
should-
you're best done.
Yeah, I really messed up idiom. I really do mess up idioms. You know, one small step for man, a large oven mint. No, what am I talking about?
Large oven mitt for my cat. Anyways, so what? That might.
No,
Oh yeah.
so
So they fall
anyway,
into a
but
lake.
yeah, I mean, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, on that subject, like with Robert Downey Jr. in the film.
Oh, are you talking about Tropic Thunder?
Yeah, like you said, and I feel the same about that film. I don't think there's any hatred there. It's more making fun of the bigot of the guy who actually thinks the white
Yeah.
Australian actor who thinks he can do blackface, and
It's making
yeah.
making fun of Hollywood
Yeah.
more than it like
Yeah.
which is
oh
the
God, yes,
the
Harvey Weinstein
of that.
character and all that. But still, like,
Yeah.
they're going after him 10 years later.
now are they?
Yeah.
But who is? And that's the thing. It's the idea of like giving people
Yeah.
power.
That is true. But I mean, big media, big coverage, big media, they don't want the fuss. As soon as something is brought up, they'll
That's
bump
why
it.
that's why you need the independent. That's why
Yeah.
YouTube is
But
great
honestly,
and everyone can do stuff.
this
But-
film, when it comes to racial issues, bigotry, and religion, yeah, it honestly is trying to paint this nice picture of everyone. That's what I got from it, and in the end, like, you kind of like, yeah, we all have our different, you know,
Oh yeah. And it's
ways
like,
of living
it
and
goes
stuff like
into
with
this,
different people,
sort of-
but in the end, we can all like get along.
There's
under
a-
crazy Sunday,
there's
crazy circus
also
hats.
there's also a lot of like plot things that in a different movie would be like cop outs or like wouldn't make any sense, but because it's like a French comedy and they just the way they make it, it works. Like the fact that he becomes the president, and so there's so there's a subplot of
Yeah.
of a guy who is like having a revolution in a
yeah.
unnamed country. They never
Sliman.
mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sliman.
Yeah.
He's the character, and there are assassins that are going after him. And then by the end of the movie, they like get reports. It's like, oh no, the revolution is taking over, and you are now the president. And then the assassins are like, God damn it!
Yeah,
All right,
just,
now we need to follow. Now we need
yeah.
to.
I loved how
It's just
he takes it. He kind of slowly pulls the phone down, looks slowly at Sleeman, and he's like, "Look, President Sleeman." He just realized, oh my god, he's no longer the enemy.
Yeah, and also all the because it's not a comedy of errors, it's a comedy of misunderstandings, because like you have him and Sleeman becoming the Rabbi Jacob and everything, and then you have the police commissioner being confused for the assassins.
A complete nincompoop, right?
Yes.
Everything they did, everything they thought was just, they were complete idiots. So you don't say that the British only make fun of the French police.
Oh,
that was the French making fun of the French police.
Yes.
You know?
And what was it? I think that Rabbi Jacob has a.
Do you remember? He said, "Take off your hats because that's what Catholics do before you enter."
Oh,
and
yeah, when they enter into the synagogue.
Yeah, but at the synagogue you have to wear a hat.
So exactly.
They kept like
taking off. They took off their hats, and then they were like, and everyone was like pointing at their heads.
That's a really funny way of making a joke about the differences between those religions.
Oh yeah, for religion, Take off your hat. No, put on your. And then there was so like when he of course arrives in the Jewish district. And honestly, it's really it's really like pleasant and very nice.
That so, like, dance scene is just perfect.
Oh yeah,
it's
really good.
And obviously it's ridiculous that the guy knew how to dance from the get-go. He's looking around trying to like pick up the moves, but he's still way too good.
Compared
to it's like his first time.
But I really like that. I really like that scene because it's like, and it also, his driver Solomon, it was just he is a nice the fact that you have all these connections, so you have these characters, you see them over and over again, and so you get to know them, and like Solomon recognizes him instantly, but then like wants a raise and wants to be rehired.
Yeah. He knew how to read the situation there.
Yes. So he's smart about it, which was fun. What else?
Did you think it was funny how it was the adventure of the adventure of Rabbi Jacob, but it's basically Pivette as being Rabbi Jacob, and the actual Rabbi Jacob would not. There was always a new problem. Like the police went after him, and then his nephew didn't believe him.
Called him an idiot.
Yeah.
And then he got arrested.
And then the assassins picked him up.
They
caught, Victor Pivette.
Yes. And also his wife, Pivette's wife.
That was those scenes at the dentist.
At the dentist, those are like absurd cartoony scenes, and they're like always yelling at each other. And then when he has to make an alibi where he is like, I'm running away with you with a 65-year-old woman who is hairy and has big hands.
She just said, "Quoi?" A big what? Quoi? And then she slams the telephone on the table, and all the what do you call it?
Oh, the dentist chair. Oh yeah, all the dentures.
All the.
Yeah, those touches of having like visual gags and everything.
Yeah, a lot of visual
when they're driving on the motorcycle, and he has like the Jewish curl thing, and it like goes to the side like a signal, like a car signal. I don't know why that was in the scene.
Again, it's just like ridiculous. There's a sound effect added in.
Yeah.
But like,
There's a lot of like, can we do this joke? Or does
Yeah.
it make sense? Does it like further the story? No, okay, but we just want to make this joke.
it's just, they're they're not really bound to reality in that way. I suppose.
No, it's more what is funny rather than
Yeah.
what makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, as long as it doesn't completely like, if it would have been something like a fourth wall moment or like the story is just
Oh,
gone
yeah,
bonkers,
yeah,
then
yeah.
it wouldn't have worked, right? That would have been too much. But I mean, they knew what they were allowed to do, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Totally.
I don't have the names of the directors or anything, but I just call it a Louis de Funès film because it's him all over the place as Victor. How did you feel about him when he was describing his name to people?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of sound effects and a lot of acting with your hands. Is a pivot like the woodpecker?
Yeah,
and then he
woodpecker.
makes the sound
Pivot, like a woodpecker, pivot, and then he would make that woodpecker sound.
Yeah.
He can make a lot
It's a
of
very-
faces. He can make a lot of sound effects. It's like
Yes, and when he is when they're at the gas station and he's making faces at the police to try to
Yeah.
get their attention.
Exactly. And the Sleeman is behind him. What the hell are you doing?
What the hell are you doing? Yes. Yeah, overall very good.
Yeah. And I mean, like, they were, I guess, you could say the assassins, Muslim assassin, but it was never anything extreme. I mean, that, like, in some ways it was actually kind of funny how, what was the name of the character?
Faria, no,
Fares, yeah.
no Fares.
When he used to do that cut his throat thing.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of comical more than anything else.
Well, yeah, it's just like put the thumb into the thing, and also
Yeah.
like the way they're dressed, they're wearing suits and he's like fancy glasses or like sunglasses. Like
Yeah.
it's so like 70s.
Yeah. I mean, my guess.
Oh, when
there's-
they drive from the
yeah.
gas station and like they tear the car in half because they forgot to take the gas line out.
and then he spoke French, but when he got angry, he would get angry in Arabic
Yeah.
and like beat up the other
And-
guys.
And it was funny, like because it's an old movie. There's
Yeah.
there's like at most there's maybe like green screen, but it's all like
Yeah.
physical gags. So you have a lot
Yeah.
of props work, and so like when the car falls apart, that's actually the car falling apart.
Yeah.
When they're in the lake and he's like pulling the boat through through the lake.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's a lot of that sort of thing that I really appreciate.
Yeah, the time before special effects, when you actually have to, if you wanted to trash a car, you would have to trash the car.
Yeah, you would have
On
to
set,
build buy like a cheap car. You have to build it and then
And
destroy it.
most likely, I mean, you would think only one take. Don't mess it up, right?
Well, yeah, but you
Yeah.
can. But then you can
could
edit
probably-
around it.
Yeah, somehow, some way. But still,
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's still impressive when you see it. So
yeah, and it actually makes it funnier knowing
Yeah, yeah.
because you have the knowledge. Yeah, these are not special effects; they're actually doing those things.
yeah,
And you actually do wonder,
Ah.
will that actually happen if you start driving? If you start driving with the
No, you'll
pump
just-
still going.
just pull the
Yeah.
you just pull the gas light on. But as I say, like cartoon logic, so
Yeah.
it's fun. What else? What else?
The funny thing, though, so you have Solomon and Sleeman at the end when he basically helps them escape. So they're going to the Victor's daughter's wedding, and by the way, the just the end of that wedding, like she just ran away with the president, just like that.
Well, that's just. I really like that scene. It's like it's just like a dumb. It's so like
The groom is such a
It's such
He
a
comes up with
dweeb,
such an
and
ass.
she's just like, oh yeah, and it works in an absurd comic way where I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this. Yeah, Antoinette.
But the what was that? Yeah, Solomon Sleeman. Yeah, Solomon basically helps him escape, and at the end, like Victor Peabody, he looks at both of them. Solomon Sleeman, could it be cousins from another time, or maybe from another time or something. I think Sleeman said
But
that. Distant cousins from another time, and then they shake hands. It was like, if you think about it, were the Munich Olympics in 72? Do you remember? I want to say it's 1972.
I just looked that up.
Because if that's the case, then this film comes a
Munich
year.
Olymp. Yep, it's 72.
This film comes out a year later, and you can only imagine the
tensions.
The tensions, and just after the devastating events that happened, then to have a film where, first of all, Sleeman, when he's disguised as a Jew, he's like, I can't believe I'm disguised as a Jew. And then obviously
they don't ever say in the movie what country he's from. They just allude that they are Arabic.
My guess, it's supposed to be one of those North African Arabic countries because of the French connection. And I'm just completely pulling that out of my ass, but I'm guessing that's what's the case. He's leading a revolution in one of those countries. I mean, there were. I mean, Gaddafi. He was basically a revolutionist back in the day.
Yeah,
then,
they were all.
And then he became the dictator.
The scene in the chewing gum factory where I don't remember what he said, but then Pivert says like. Sao Ming, and the guard says no, Che Guevara.
Yeah, Che Guevara. And the guard then realizes, hey, who the hell was I talking to?
Yeah.
And then because he's covered in gum, he's able to bend backwards like that. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you can only imagine at the end they work together, and in the end they work. It seems like all is well between them. Like trying to prove a point that different cultures can come together in need of crisis. I don't know, but it's kind of heartwarming story. Charming. If I use your
general sense of
within this ridiculous comedy,
but charm and being genuine that can get you a long way. Like you can get away with a lot of like absurd, illogical. You can do like absurd things in your movie. If you're genuine and you have charm, like you can get away with a lot of not making any sense.
Yeah. And never really nasty humor, right?
No, not really.
You'd never
not
say
really.
that. I mean, there's that scene when there's the guy with the big mole on his face.
Oh yeah,
that's maybe the closest. And then he, looks at the mole and just basically plucks a hair out of it.
Plucks the hair out of the mole.
Yeah.
And they drive away.
Yeah, but he's obviously at that point when he's being that mean to the police. He wants him to arrest him to get away from Sleeman.
Exactly.
Yeah. But and he was also when he ended up having to pretend to be a rabbi. That was also genius. Kosher. What was it? The kosher. They just started laughing.
The cashier, the Levi. There is the Levi.
And what was the?
When he starts doing the cross symbol, and Sleeman is like, no, not that.
Yeah, and the funny thing, Sleeman was like, he's not the Jew, but he knows much more about the Jewish tradition than
yes.
then the
And
bigot
there's another part of where I don't think you can make this kind of movie today, in the sense of it's very sporadic, as it's very cartoony in its logic, or like it has cartoony scenes and everything.
Yeah,
And I think that just there isn't a lot of movies today where you can get away with that, like having a movie where like you have so much essentially like nonsense, but like
Yeah.
I don't mean like complete nonsense, but it's like people today a lot of movies today feel like, oh, we have to like keep focus, and we can't stray too much away from like a single thing, or at least like I haven't seen
Yeah.
a lot of modern movies that would allow themselves to be like this silly, essentially.
Yeah, because if they become that silly, then producers in Hollywood say, no, it has to be a satire then, or something, you know. It cannot,
Yeah.
it either has to be over silly or just like the status quo of comedy films as it is like today. But then again, you know, this might be just, you know, a friend's thing. Maybe it's still I think didn't. It's not that long ago I saw a comedy film with Gerard Depardieu and what's the name of the other guy? Jean Reno, I think. And that was maybe from the 90s, maybe early 2000s. And they were that was a really ridiculous comedy as well. So maybe it's their way, their style, and they can get away with it. But in Hollywood, oh no, not like that.
Have you seen a movie called Little Nikolai?
Little Nikolai, I know the name.
I'm thinking...
but I don't think I've seen it. A French film?
Is it maybe Little Nicholas?
Little Nicholas. Let me check. This is so
Le
professional.
Le Petit Nicolas.
2009
it's a
film.
Yeah, 2009
Yeah.
French comedy. That's
Comedy
a really
and
good
family
comedy.
film. Okay.
Yeah, and it definitely has that sense of, which I think is to your point, that French films have a little bit more absurdist to them, or like they're not embarrassed about being sort of bending reality to service like the mood of the movie rather than service the story or the plot. It's like to enhance the mood, the feeling of the movie.
You know, it's really funny, now that you mention it, that the Japanese do the same thing with some of their live-action films.
Yeah, I can imagine.
When I watch those films, just doesn't work. I don't know what it is.
Like Japanese live-action films?
Yeah, the ones with the absurd comedy bits, or absurd story, I mean, Matsumoto, the films Matsumoto Hitoshi has done, they've been really funny. They're super absurd, but I've really laughed at a lot of them. But then there are others that are like, it didn't work for me. And I don't know. I think it's more the actors maybe, rather than
especially like in a comedy.
Yeah.
Then you need to have an actor you need to have actors who can carry that.
Yeah, I mean, how on earth are you going to make that film without Louis de Funès in the first place?
No, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't.
I mean, could you imagine like a company in Hollywood say, okay, we're going to remake this film. We need someone who can make a lot of faces. Let's get Jim Carrey. But it's just like he would never get the same magic. Yeah,
like maybe you could, like, I'm thinking of like, because essentially what he is, he's like a jerk character, which is something you don't see a lot.
Bigot.
It's like where the main character is a jerk.
Yeah.
So like I'm thinking like a John Cleese, like when he was younger, of course.
But he could have never made. Yeah, I mean, he was really energetic. Definitely, John Cleese. He can go on those rage spurts, He could just
Yes,
lose
exactly.
his mind, but that
But of course, like
Yeah.
it's so everyone has their unique style. But it just like also just a thing that you don't see a lot is a movie where the main character, especially like a comedy movie, where
Yeah.
like the main character is a jerk, and uh, yeah, and then like he goes transformation, and he transfer, and then like he says like when they arrive at the wedding at the
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
and the guy's like, "Who are these people?" Is like, "These are my friends."
Yeah. He's really proud. It's also I love that scene. They grab them, right? The assassins, they grab him and Sleeman. They're brought into the car, and then the actual Rabbi Jacob realizes, so you're Victor Puvet, and when he realizes that's the real Rabbi Jacob, he's so surprised, but also kind of he looks happy, like when you see Rabbi Jacob, but he was really surprised, but also kind of you got a sense he was a little bit happy to finally meet the man.
Yes.
And then
It was
yeah. In the end, he said, "I have to confess, I am not a Jew." But then they said,
yes.
"Well, you can
I'm
still
not
join
Jewish.
us." So,
Well, you can
yeah.
still join us. It was nice.
Yeah,
As I said, like a very charming movie.
yeah. I never seen a movie that shows this kind of a image of a small Jewish community that seems really lively and seems like
Yeah, I
a
guess
I don't think I've ever
like that.
really seen
That then again, it's
that
like
side of it.
I don't know a lot about Judaism.
Yeah.
But so I don't know how I don't know if there's jokes and stuff that I would get if I were Jewish,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely a positive, at least from my perspective, it's a positive view because like they come there, everyone's super friendly and everyone's happy, and the grandma is like, "Are you married? Would you like to be married?"
Yeah, they were already setting up the.
So what it says, like I have set up 30. Like, what does it say? It's like I've set up 54 marriages and 113 kids.
It's a big thing in the Jewish community to make sure to stay in the tribe, right?
Jewish grandmas setting up. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone would. I don't know if anyone would think that this movie will think that is like a bigoted depiction or anything, but I just got super positive feelings.
Yeah, it was completely
watching it.
Yeah, it's the way I thought about it as well. You watch it, and there was nothing but positivity from all of them. From Sleeman becoming the president, and the Jews, they finally reunite with the actual Rabbi Jacob, and
really funny that the assassins, like once Sleeman becomes the president, the assassins are like, "All right, now you're the president." Like,
what did he say? When he was begging him, and Victor said, "You bet on the wrong camel," or something.
Yeah, you bet on the wrong camel.
There were many good one-liners that he had in that film.
Yes.
So would you recommend this film now to other people?
I would recommend this movie. Whether I don't think, as you said, like it's not the funniest movie I've ever seen, but it is definitely up there, and it's really charming. I really liked it.
Yeah, I like that comment. Really charming. I'd always just thought of it as a really funny film with great characters and a nice storyline, but charming. Yeah, definitely that definitely fits this film. A charming film. Well, I don't think. Well, is there anything else you want to add?
No, nothing. Well, I did experience the same problem as you with where the subtitles in the latter half of the movie started to get delayed, and that did make it a little bit confusing. But I did manage. So like,
you were able.
But
to,
other than that,
were you able to fix it?
I wasn't able to fix it, but I
Okay.
I did manage to follow along. So.
All right. I just delayed. No, actually, I hastened the subtitles.
Yeah.
In
It's but that's
yeah.
like that's nothing to say on the movie.
Yeah.
That was just my viewing
Minor
experience.
technical
But
problem, yeah. So anyways,
Uh,
that was the first episode of What's This? We were talking about the film The Mad Adventures of Rabbi Jacob. And it final verdict was funny and charming.
funny, a funny movie, but very, very charming. That's what I would say. That's number one. It's a very charming movie.
Well, and as the guy who introduced it to you, I would say that's a great success. It's not gonna be given. I mean, for example, oh yes, next time I'm gonna let you just decide the next picture, and we'll
Yes,
see if we
I'm
can get.
gonna.
We'll
I'm gonna
see if we
think-
can get any others to join us. But yeah,
I am wondering. I have not decided yet. I have
well,
some ideas.
maybe we'll just keep it that way, and then.
I
next
wanted to say
time-
one thing
Okay.
about that.
All right.
Is that I am divided on whether I should recommend a movie that I think is great, or or a movie that I think is so bad it's great.
Well, we'll find out then. All right.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to the JLR podcast network. You were just listening to the first ever episode of What's This? And stay tuned for more future episodes like this. And yes.
Have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day, everyone. And thanks for listening. Ciao. Bye bye.